do you want people to come out? Now, have you all got...
I haven't got a mic, so I have to use the...
Mary Thornley has just arrived, so you can scratch her off as an apology. Has everybody got consensus card? Sorry, thanks, John. Has everybody got consensus cards and a copy of the agenda should you want it? Just to let you know that the agenda will be projected for your convenience and so that you might see it more clearly. But I know some people like to have a copy standing. Now, is there anybody out in the hall still getting their tea and coffee? Okay, then. Shall we call this meeting to order? Can I first of all welcome you all to this meeting of Morialta Uniting Church's congregation. Just a few beginning remarks. As always, we acknowledge that we are meeting on the lands that have for millennia been in the care of the Kaurna people. We honour their culture, we honour their love of the land and their special relationship with it. We honour the leaders of the Kaurna people and indeed all First Nations people's leaders. Can I say Ninamani to you? And can I also let you know a couple of things? First of all, Rhonda is well. She is truanting from the meeting because she had an offer of going to the Locks and Lights. Jan and John Thornton are also well, but it is their 55th wedding anniversary, and going elsewhere to celebrate had a greater pull than our congregation. So we acknowledge them as apologies. I am fine. This is not an affectation. My sunglasses are intelligent AI glasses, which actually provide me with the opportunity to do all sorts of things and to augment the support that I get from Oakland. I'm wearing them to get used to them. When I hopefully am fortunate enough to get funding, these are my son's glasses. He won them by attending a conference and having his business card picked out of the bowl. Too much information probably, but please can I assure you that I am fine. I'm wearing them to get used to them, so I hope that doesn't distract you. Apologies, we already have listed a number of apologies, but if you are aware of others in our community who are not able to be here today in person but would like to have their apology registered, then please see Craig at the end of the meeting. Likewise, we have a good number in attendance today, and we appreciate your ability to stay and be part of what it is to be a member of a community and to deal with business on occasions. I think that I also need to say, to remind you that we make our decisions via consensus unless in very unusual circumstances, particularly for this community, we need to move to formal proceedings. The consensus cards help us to see how others are feeling about particular things and particular decisions that we need to make. A blue card means that if you hold a blue card up, then that means that you are, you're cool to the idea. Perhaps you want more information. If you do, the yellow card is an addition reasonably recently, but it indicates that you have a question. And if you have a question, please put the yellow card up, and someone will come to you. Helen actually will come to you, and you will be able to address the meeting with the question. The orange card means that you are warm to the suggestion, the proposal that we are being asked to consider. And if you are warm and have no further questions, then please put up the orange card. Now, I know I've told you this in the past, but please, there may be others who aren't, who don't know that. And so that's the reason for the cards. Are there any questions about the cards? By the way, if you think things are dragging on and you want things to proceed a little bit further, that's what you do. But I still can't see you. Yes, thank you very much. I was going to say, I hope that you're all going to stay for the lunch that has been coordinated by Leslie Titterman. We really appreciate the opportunity to meet over lunch, and there'll also be a birthday cake to add to the already lovely menu. Next is confirmation of the agenda. Now, the agenda is up for your information. You have a copy of it here. Can I ask, to see your warmth or otherwise at accepting the agenda as our way forward this meeting? Thank you. We have consensus. Yes, we have consensus. So the next one is confirmation of the minutes. Our last meeting on the 13th of April this year was recorded by Craig. You've received the minutes and been given the opportunity to get a printed copy from the office. For those who have received it, and can I ask to see your warmth or otherwise at receiving these minutes as an accurate record of the meeting? Okay, we have consensus? Yes, we have consensus. The next item is Minister's Reflections. We welcome Anne to provide us with her first Minister's Reflection to the Morialta congregation meeting. Thank you, Anne.
Can I have the microphone?
You sure can. Or if you use the lectern, would that be okay?
I could use the lectern.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Hello. I have now been your minister here at Morialta for 6 months. And people are keen to know how things are going. Are you still in the honeymoon period, they ask me. And I think I can say yes. And this is probably only the second time I've ever enjoyed such a time at the beginning of a particular ministry. I wrote this some time ago. I can't remember what the other time was, but this is unusual for me. It's lovely to be so welcomed. I think the gap without a minister really encourages you to be extra loving to the new person. No, don't you believe it? Right. I don't think I've yet outstayed my welcome, and none of you are too cross with me just yet, but you wait, it will happen. It is a joy and a privilege to minister here, and I thank you all for your support. Just getting along together is not enough. Just maintaining the excellent things we already do is not why I'm here. And I know many of you feel the same. What structures do we have the freedom to offer to our community and beyond without draining our people resources and providing life-giving opportunities to our own people? Shall I say that again? What structures do we have the freedom to offer to our community and beyond without draining our people resources and providing life-giving opportunities to our own people? I'm suggesting what I consider to be the way forward, at least for the foreseeable future. I think that we need to focus on being a community one day a week that isn't Sunday. I think we need to outreach to younger people one evening a week, particularly in the warmer months, because I think staying at home in the winter is a much better idea. And I think we need to look at one Saturday a month. The community day could include many different activities, such as worship, particularly for people who think 10 o'clock doesn't exist and they can't get out of bed and get ready in time. Exercise, craft, lunch, a pop choir, a labyrinth, or a coffin club. The idea that small teams of people would come together once a month to teach or learn more of what brings joy to their lives, to share these with everyday people who live and work in our local area. There is a concept among church experts that we need to become indispensable to our local community, so that if we were to ever to cease to worship here, the good work we have done would be continued by those people who've benefited from it. Obviously, we need to check what other churches and groups in the area are doing, because there's no point duplicating what already exists. We need to focus our greatest asset, which is our people, then our buildings, and then our hope for the future, the three assets that we have. Then we need some teams of people to offer a wider menu of community building and exposure to church people so that others get to see how amazing you are. They don't know. I want them to know. I'm going to be introducing you, I hope. This could include other spirituality opportunities such as meditation or labyrinth, some support groups, particularly a grief support group, or suicide prevention group, times to chat over a cuppa. Many people have been keen to tell me about the successful Wednesday lunch for the community that you used to have. I believe we could have volunteers learning to cook and providing simple meals for others. This may be the place where I can bring my vision of a place of work and worship in the style of the Iona community, where people from around the world would offer their time in exchange for board and lodging and the chance to experience real community and expansive Christian spirituality. One of the sadnesses of ministry is the farewelling of good and faithful servants. I arrived to a flurry of funerals, and I know that many other deaths and losses have occurred in families and in circles of friends. We need to streamline how we offer support to families so that not everyone needs to be involved with every funeral. A team approach with a roster would lessen the amount of personal effort needed while still ensuring we do our best for each occasion. Simplicity should be our guide. Thank you for entrusting me to lead you. May the Good Shepherd be our guide, leading with gentleness, finding the safe way forward for all of the flock. May God continue to bless all those who are associated with Morialta. Amen.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Yes. No yellow cards? No? Ruth Beth. Thank you, Ruth.
The pot. It sounds great, but you know we're getting old, and you know I found it quite daunting, all those things that you were talking about and you know wanting us to participate in. That's my problem, and you know evening things. I find I can't drive at night anymore, and yeah, it sounds wonderful, but it sounds too hard.
But you could manage one thing once a month in the day. And that's all I'm asking. If everyone was doing everything, I think you'd have a right to complain. Yes?
I think, Anne, what you're saying is that nobody will be asked to do more than they can, but they will all be asked to support, however they might, the activities that are provided to help people in our community learn about what it is that gives us a reason to come to Morialta Uniting Church. I see this as an opportunity. I recognise that there are people who are perhaps concerned about their health and their age, but as I heard somebody down here say, you're not dead yet, and as I heard somebody at a recent synod say, you can always pray for success, and if that's all you can do, then that is a mighty thing to do. But certainly, I think that we are called to be challenged by our minister. How is it that we are how is it that we are called to provide worship and share in ministry with each other and the community? How is it that we are called to provide mission and missional activities to the community? And that's what I heard from Anne.
Yes.
Thank you.
Questions?
I was intrigued to hear about that there could be a labyrinth.
Yes.
And I wondered how we could have a labyrinth here.
When I was at Clayton Wesley Uniting Church, not all that far away, the first Tuesday, I think it was of the month, in the hall, there would be a labyrinth rolled out and people would walk it. It was surrounded by candles. It was truly a beautiful experience. A little cold in the middle of winter, but something we could do in the hall or even in the church here if we moved the chairs. Now, that's a big task, is moving chairs. So someone is looking in. They don't do the labyrinth anymore at Clayton Wesley, but it still exists. And it's a chartreuse labyrinth. We could roll it out and people, it's a kind of prayer walking. I know some of you walk and pray in your garden or in the park. Well, this is a different kind of walking. When it became too dangerous to go to Jerusalem, people walked inside a building where it was safe.
Well, I'm so glad I asked the question, because I've never ever known of a labyrinth that it was always outside.
Yes, you can have a labyrinth outside, but you can have one inside as well.
And I'm glad to hear it, that there's more possibilities.
Thank you, Joan.
Activity.
Yes.
Thank you.
Another question? More questions?
Yes, I want to support the idea of the labyrinth, and there were 2 or 3 things there that I thought, oh, maybe I could do that. And, you know, I have limitations like everybody else these days, but I feel encouraged by what you have put together, and particularly the meditation. And I can't remember all the other things, but there were a few ticks along the way.
Yeah.
Is it
Yep.
Pam?
One more.
Here?
Is it working? Oh,
Yeah.
it's a fabulous idea. What would your way of starting the processes? I mean, I'm thinking, I come from community development background,
Speak it to
and I know, you know, you've got to have, and you know too, you have to have a meeting. How we're going to approach the younger generations. And of course, my first thing is from how we used to do it, letter drops, but Facebook is through people's Facebooks, people who already you know of, who could then say, oh, I'll pass it on to Joe Blow. He might be interested, and he'll pass it on. And that's one way that's come across my mind to say, let's get going, let's have a meeting. Drum out the different ways of broadcasting our ideas. And it's a good opportunity. Now they're trying to stop some of these electronic things, the government. And it's happening this week. Let's get mobile.
That's it.
I do remember at one time we did have a labyrinth here in the church. It was over in that area, and it was for a special occasion. And I'm thinking along the line, can we have a Lenten labyrinth?
Why
It
not?
would give focus to what the labyrinth was all about. Just an idea.
Wait, please.
And as far as getting out to young people, can we involve the 8 people next door and make them the catalyst for maybe bringing others?
There's a comment at the back.
Actually, one of our pastoral support workers used to make labyrinths for the children at high school, and he moved on to the place down at north of Jepp's Cross where they keep young men and a few young women inside, and he apparently his labyrinths worked really well with that community. So it may be, working with someone like Nigel, we could reach out to younger people, school, university age.
I imagine we would start small and we would build up. And if we have a great idea, we would try it, and if it doesn't work well, we'd drop that idea and pick up the next one. The idea isn't for people to feel burdened, because we need to find the things that give us joy,
Yep.
and we need to do them with other people.
Yep.
So,
Can I say that there are obviously lots of ideas buzzing around. We're not here today to solve what the challenge, the challenge that Anne that Anne has given us, but we are here to hear and take away and think about how we might be involved. Some of you have already thought how you might be involved, which is excellent, but I'm sure that Anne would be very pleased to hear others who might have questions, others who might want to be involved in particular projects that will start in a small way and they will be next year. Yep, thanks very much. Any other questions? Thanks very much, Anne. We hope that your time with us never becomes not a honeymoon period. Thank you. And the next item on the agenda is dealing with finances. First of all, a brief summary of the year to date, and then a presentation of the budget. Thank you.
Bruce.
Thank you, Carol.
Right. Just this a very brief report, just to let you know where we were standing at the end of October this year. You'll see by the slide there that our income was $223,000, our expenses $211,000, which gives us an operating profit to the end of October as $11,000. We budgeted for a $13,000 deficit at this time, so you can see by those figures that we are well ahead. However, there's always a however. As you know, we have had batteries installed in both of the student houses, and there will one be installed in the hall prior to the end of this year. The total cost of those batteries is about $34,000. So once again, that was an ex-budget item authorised by the Church Council after much discussion. And Chris Ailes did an amazing job of getting all that information together for us, and only a matter of several years we will have those batteries paid off, in the fact that will be generating so much electricity to use here, but also to put back into the grid. So $34,000 will in fact put us into deficit for this year, but I think we should all agree that the batteries are a wonderful investment. So there's just a few other notes to that. An update on the market figure, of course. We've just over $9,000. So that was just an absolutely amazing effort by everybody involved. Now, also this year to October, we've received donations totalling just over $12,000. And that comes from catering for funerals, a donation from the Kimber Uniting Church, a donation from the McGill Community Garden across the road, and the Ross Trevor Campbelltown Kiwanis Club. And the Morialta Netball Club also donated $3,800, and that's to assist with the expenses that they generate by using our premises for their netball. Now, we received from the Synod office a grant for $2,500, and that was to go toward the cost of the new projector in the hall. Once again, we are looking to get grants to assist us in other things that we might need to purchase. And also, for the first time this year, we've become a part of the initiative towards the Net Zero campaign. And this year, the amount we paid was $523. And that's an annual commitment by this church. And you remember that some time ago, we all recorded the number of kilometres it takes us to get from home to the church and how many times a week we did it. All that information was fed to Colin, and he's done an amazing job to get us enrolled in that particular program. I've talked to you about the batteries for 24 Chapel Street. So that's all regarding up to October. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. And if anybody wants any clarification on any part of the income or any part of the expenditure to date, I'd be happy to see you afterwards. And the full set of accounts is available if anybody would like to have a copy. Any questions? Greeted by silence, that's good.
So now's your time to have to ask any clarifying questions. But I think that, as Carol has said, we have been responsible stewards of our property, our people, and our finances. Thank you very much for that clarification and that brief report, Carol. We appreciate it. In the absence of any questions, shall we move on to
the budget.
This budget?
Right, we'll start with the income, and I won't go through them every line by line, but you will see there that the combined giving that we anticipate or project for 2026 is $101,000. The combined income from the student accommodation, which covers their rent and the utilities, $50,000. Hire of facilities, $21,000, and rent of the manse, $35,000. We anticipate that the manse will be continued to be rented out for the full 12-month period for 2026. Major fundraising, $11,000, and interest received, $11,000. We monitor our accounts very closely so that when we do have any excess funds in our bank account, that we transfer those funds to our UC Invest account so that we can take advantage of the higher interest rates. Thank you, Colin. Donations general, this is always a tricky one because we don't know about donations, so we just put in a nominal amount each year. And as you can see from our October figures, we are got a lot more donations than we actually budgeted for. The donations from the Morialta Netball Club is, just as I explained earlier, towards the cost of the running of the church as far as they're concerned, or their facilities. Sundry income is always a tricky one because we always get some income that we don't quite know where to put. So sundries is a very, very good line to have. Our hospitality and catering, of course, that is not only our Sunday morning's morning tea, but also the hospitality we offer for funerals and other occasions. And then the Japanese play group, Tai Chi art, they're all the community centre activities. The total for them we anticipate is $7,900. So we're anticipating our total income for 2026 to be $244,300. And if there's any questions on any part of the income, I'd be happy to take them.
Would anybody like any clarification at the moment? If you please put up your yellow card.
No, it doesn't appear to be.
Your explanation was obviously very clear, and that's really good. Thank you.
Okay, well, we'll move on to the expenses then. The pastoral care, that's the pastoral care team. You can see there that they have 3 lines of expenses, and that amount will total $500. And the next team is the Worship and Faith Education team. That covers copyrights and licences. As you know, we hold 2 licences for the songs we use, and that is a must because if we get caught out without copyright, the fines are horrific. So that's they're really important for us to have. We're moving on now to audiovisual. Audiovisual, as you know, they are responsible for everything we do online, but also making sure that everything functions perfectly around this church. And that will be $10,000. The next group is finance, is a large group. That covers the community centre expenses for the various groups that meet here. And the Mission and Service Fund. The Mission and Service Fund is required by the Synod Office, and we contribute 10% of our income based on 2024 figures, 10% to the Mission and Service Fund, 2% to the Presbytery Fund, and there is a redress scheme that is a very small amount, but that is paid by all the churches annually, and that is put aside in case there is ever a claim against the church for child abuse and things like that we know has happened. So that redress stream is very important for us to have. The office coordinator, as you know, Nicole does a great job in the office. It's important for us to have her working away on our behalf there. Finance continued. Accounting and audit fees, that obviously is for the monthly accounting done by the bookkeeping unit, and the annual audit they also organise for us. The computers and IT, we will be purchasing another computer this year, and that will be for the office, a new computer for the office, and the one we've got is a bit out of date. Office expenses general just covers stationery and items like that. Photocopier lease, self-explanatory. Hospitality and catering, that's the cost involved in that, and that expense is offset against the income line for that. Once again, we've got sundry expenses, another handy line to have, and advertising and so on, and fundraising expenses. Now, properties. Thanks, Colin. We've not done a lot of maintenance on the buildings, or we've not been recalled to do that for a long time, and that is due in a large part to Chris Ayles's amazing management of the properties. He does a great job, and whenever there is something needed to be done, he addresses it very quickly, and certainly he's done it for a long time. He's a great man. So also we've got the normal property expenses, rates, electricity and gas, insurance. Insurance is another big item. I've not had the insurance schedule for 2026 as yet, but we did allow a 15% increase on this year's insurance because insurance costs have been creeping up every year for some years now. The cleaning contractors and cleaning materials, as you know, we have a cleaning contractor that cleans the houses next door and also the church and the other premises here. And then the manse, the property at the manse, that's been rented out, as I said, and will continue to do so for this coming 12 months. We've not had to do a lot of maintenance on the manse now for some time, and the others are the normal costs you have with any property, which is the rates, council water and insurances, and the manse management fees. The manse is managed by Boffo Real Estate, and obviously they charge for their services. But that does take a load off our mind, and particularly Chris's mind, not having to manage that property as well. And the student accommodation houses next door, Anne Ind is responsible for those with the assistance from Ruth Wise when needed. Repairs and maintenance, we've had a little bit more this year than we expected, but we've also allowed a small increase for the maintenance for those buildings. And also just the normal charges, rates, electricity, telephone, internet, gas and so on, and the total for them is $24,300. So our projected expenses for 2026 $292,930. Is there any questions on any of the expenses or properties?
If you've got a question, please put up your yellow card. Just some information that I received just reasonably recently about insurance. We will receive our schedule perhaps soon, but there was a sentence in it that I thought was quite hopeful, and it said that recognising that the insurances had been going up quantumly, they thought that there might be the possibility of a small decrease.
Yeah, I got that too, Bruce, and it depends on when the last valuations were done on the property. I don't know when our last valuations were done here.
Not for a while, so we hopefully will get a decrease.
Yeah. It would be a good thing.
Yeah.
So, does any questions?
Any questions?
Ruth Pitt.
Yes, Ruth, thank you. You say sorry about asking a question. I'm sure that the questions you ask or the comments that you make are perhaps echoed by a number of other people. I, for one, really appreciate your willingness to share your questions and concerns. Please never stop that.
Well, that's good, because I used to be caned at school for this sort of behaviour.
We don't have it. Yeah, no corporal punishment at all.
Okay, when you're talking about insurance with the songs, I was thinking, does that cover us at Milpara when we use the hymns that we use at Milpara? That's included?
It covers all volunteers who are volunteering anywhere on behalf of this church.
Right, so we can legally sing the songs. Good. And the other thing is, another organisation I belong to, because of the age of the participants, they've been told that their fees are decreased because of their age, because they're not covered over a certain age. Now, what is the age of coverage for accident insurance or whatever with the Uniting Church for us at church? I understood a while ago someone said, when you're over 80 you're not covered by insurance in the kitchen, and I wondered if that will affect the insurance premiums if most of us aren't covered because we're too old.
Ruth, I'm pretty sure I can assure you, and Bruce would know as well, that it doesn't matter your age, what age you are covered by insurance. So please stop volunteering just because you're over 80. That's right, isn't it, Bruce?
Yes. As far as sorry, who was over here? Somebody had a... Can I tell you that we will clarify that and make sure that it is so. But just because you're 80, you don't get a leave pass. As I said before, if all you can do is all you can do, then that's fine. And if all you can do is pray and share your concern, that's fine. But if you feel like doing other things, that would be excellent. Are there any other questions? Can I just say a couple of things, if that's okay? You'll notice that there is a significant deficit. That's a consequence of being cautious with our income and cautious with our expenses. Maybe we've underestimated our income and overestimated our expenses, but that's a good thing to do, because the budget is a guide for what we are doing here, and it may be that we will find that the budget is that there is, as in other years, we have a smaller deficit than is required. There are a couple of things that you can do to decrease the deficit. Recognising that most people here are on fixed incomes, and also recognising the value of volunteering that happens throughout the life and witness of Morialta, have you considered increasing your weekly offering? It would be really good, as I'm sure Carol, and I'm sorry to steal your thunder, it would be really good if everybody who came regularly to Morialta used the e-give model. That way, it's actually really excellent because the council and finance are more able to know what our weekly and annual income is. If you'd like more information, I'm sure Carol can provide it, but please consider the possibility of, in these times of restrictions and other things, just perhaps increasing your, because every dollar counts, and over 52 weeks, it counts a lot.
Thanks, Bruce.
Yes?
Peter.
Thanks. So a bit of a wet blanket question, but it isn't actually. Anne has talked about doing community work which would encourage other people to become aware of and related to the church. And now we see a deficit of approximately $50,000 there. How many years, if nothing changed, how many years would we be able to survive on our reserves running that sort of deficit?
We did that process about 3 years ago, Peter, and at that stage on our finances to that time and the costs that we had annually for that at that time, that we anticipated 4 to 5 years. We believe that has changed, and that we couldn't really put a year on it. I know that the finance team will be looking at that quite closely in the next 12 months, and I know they'll be seeking advice from positioned people who have been through that before. So yes, we are not looking in the short term to having to close the doors.
That's not actually why I'm asking the question, is that we are actually very lucky. We have this amount of money as a reserve that we can use to continue doing work in this area, and also the opportunity to make a difference, continue making a difference actually, because we have in the past, haven't we? To make a difference in Morialta, yeah. And we're lucky. Many churches don't have that level. A level to survive for 4 or 5 years, say, or whatever it currently is. Yeah. Let's squander our money wisely.
Peter's referring to the money we have invested with UC Invest. I haven't got the balance sheet with me; it's over there, but I can let you all know later that we have invested funds with the UC Invest, and they are used to cover deficits should they arise. But as Peter said, we have quite a lot of money invested there. But also, Bruce mentioned the e-give, which is also one of the UC Invest accounts. And there are already many people from this congregation who have pledged to that, and monthly those amounts come directly from their bank accounts. And then at the end of the month, that amount is transferred to our bank account. Now, UC Invest is a huge investment company for the Uniting Church. They hold funds of some hundreds of millions of dollars. Now, with those hundreds of millions of dollars, they also invest that at an interest rate, and the interest that they receive on the money that we invest with them is always poured back into the Uniting Church. It stays within the Uniting Church, as in funding, as in gifting, as in granting to Uniting Churches in South Australia. So if you did want to talk about or think about using e-give as a monthly thing, please see me. I'd be happy to help you. Or there are forms available that you can complete yourself and send in, and be assured that all information is confidential. Right?
just to underline, we do have significant reserves. As Peter said, we are very fortunate for the stewardship that we have employed over a long period of time. Please don't get the idea that we are looking at closing in any way in the near or longer future. And some of the things that have been challenged, that Anne has challenged us to think about, may indeed enliven this congregation significantly, so that we will be able to welcome more people into the community that is a congregation, and hopefully find that the deficit, as it usually does, it diminishes this year and into the future. This is a responsible budget brought to you for your consideration and approval by the Church Council after preparation by Carol and the finance team. Are there any other questions? Okay, thank you.
If we put it to the congregation.
Yes. Okay, can I see
the total income for 2026, 244,300. The total expenses, 292,930. That result would be a deficit budget of 48,630. So, Bruce, we can put that to the congregation.
Yes. Can I see your warmth or otherwise at receiving this draft budget as a way forward for the congregation in 2026?
All orange. Consensus.
We have consensus? Yes, we have consensus. Thank you very much. Thank you, Carol.
And just before I sit, I'd like just to let you know that the Beyond Morialta Mission Project, as you know, is every year, and the total amount that we pledge for that is $3,000. So early in the year, $1,500 of that was donated to the ACWAC group. We all know about the ACWAC group and the work they do for the war-torn children in Syria. And the other $1,500 went to the Uniting Church Frontier Services. That is a pledge that we make every year. And at the AGM, Bev Treadray will let us know the programs who are going to benefit from that next year. And just another little aside, as you know, the Christmas Bowl is, we are promoting that. The envelopes for donations to the Christmas Bowl are now on the table in the foyer. So if you would like to contribute to that, the envelopes are there. If you do so, please just put them in the offering bowl when you come on a Sunday, or pass them to me. That's it, Bruce.
Thanks very much, Carol. Can we show our appreciation? Thank you. And community building and fundraising, an important part of community that defines Morialta Uniting Church.
Thanks, Bruce. I'm giving you an update on our proposed program for 2026, but I'd like to thank Helena, Carol and Judith, who are the rest of the fundraising or community building and fundraising. So we look at our role as building community, but also keeping the doors open through fundraising. And we work closely with people like Leslie, because we try to involve the lunches into this program, and the AV team, who we rely very heavily on for running concerts. So you'll see from the list that really there's a lot happening in February, March and April. But it's during Ramadan, then we'll have pre-polling station in the hall, and possibly a polling booth here as well. We have then Lent and Easter, and sometime during that period, of course, we have our AGM. And so maybe there's an opportunity to put a lunch with the AGM and run that as a community building program. Our first concert for the year is a return of Lee Newton, and he will also be with Martin Ryder. And we've got two dates there because at the moment Martin is overseas, and we're not quite sure whether thing. But I would wonder if you would like to give an expression whether your preference would be to have a concert on Mother's Day or to have it a week later. So those for Mother's Day. Those a week later. Right, so we will try and avoid Mother's Day. I thought it would have been a great idea because most of us, we can't bring our mother, but in many cases we could bring our children and make them come and appreciate their mother here and support our fundraising. So there's a thought, mothers and children and grandchildren.
I like that.
The next second concert is one which we haven't had before, but it's a well-known couple, two very talented musicians who play harps mainly, and they call themselves Harp to Harp. And if you have heard them, it really is a very great experience for a musical afternoon. And all our concerts will be followed by afternoon tea, which I think if you've been to the last few, you'll realise that, it is quite a social event in the hall, and the level of conversation, on a few occasions, we've sort of been trying to pack up tables and chairs, and you almost have to pack the people up with them because they don't want to go home. So I think the afternoon tea is a very, very good way of having guests from outside our community and joining with them and having an entertaining afternoon. Then the next item is we don't have anything programmed for July, except my birthday, of course, if you wish to do something special for me. But guess who's coming to lunch will again be in August, which Judith always organises for us, and for those who participate really find that a worthy experience. And then we go back to having concerts, and Kim has very kindly offered to give a concert again in October. And if you remember back to the 2 months ago to when he was here, and we were able to pack the church with enthusiastic people, and many of them are not part of our community. So in a way, that's bringing in, if you want to do it in economic terms, it's bringing in money which is not coming out of our pockets, it's coming out of our guests are supporting us. And so with people like Kim and Harp to Harp, and the final concert of the year, the Illumina Voices, who I have not heard personally, but several people in the congregation have recommended them most strongly. And they are going to give a concert on November the 1st, which again will be followed by afternoon tea. And they are hopeful that they will have an extra with bells. I'm not quite sure what the bells are, but when I hear bells, I'm sort of reminded of cows walking around meadows in Switzerland. So it may be more organised than that. And then, of course, to end of the year, the only thing we haven't confirmed in that list is the Mary McGill Market, which, if we have it at a similar time, would be on the 21st of November. And given the fact that the one we've just had was so successful, it is worth considering. And the next slide is what we decided that we would like to give you suggestions about how to get involved. It's fine for us to build a program and try and invite people to come, but it is far more successful if we take it on as our program and not the community building fundraising team's program. And so things that we would encourage you to do is if you have Facebook, then put the flyers and photographs on your Facebook page so that all of your friends and all your people who see your Facebook know about the concert, because it's a very easy, cheap way of advertising. And also, if you don't have Facebook, then tell your friends and relatives about the concert and when it's on, and urge them to buy tickets. And we can distribute flyers to our neighbours, local shopping centres. We always manage to have them in the McGill shopping centre, but it would be good if you go to other shopping centres, if you take a few flyers and ask some of the shops whether they would allow you to put them up. And we really do need volunteers to cook for afternoon teas. So maybe even just volunteer to cook for one afternoon tea a year would be really tremendous, because that means that the same people are not doing the cooking for all of the afternoon teas. And also volunteer to help serve afternoon teas or lunch or work in the kitchen, or volunteer to sell raffle tickets. And you really, I think, seeing Pauline and Doreen selling raffle tickets really warmed my heart, because I thought if they can sell raffle tickets, then anybody can sell raffle tickets. Because doing it sitting in a wheelchair, I think that was just such a beautiful image of people doing things to be part of a community. And we also, of course, need volunteers to help set up and pack up the church and the hall after this. And we find having a pop-up stall can be quite successful. You know, it's another $200 if we have that. And the most important one, though, which I put in red, is buy tickets, because we do need people to purchase tickets and to come along. And because we're not running it necessarily for entertainment of ourselves or anybody else, we're really running this program to provide another income stream to keep the doors open and to be able to fund our activities. So that's the end of my sales.
Well and gently done, Colin. Thank you very much. Are there any questions? I won't ask for any offers from the suggestion. Margaret.
I just thought it would be great to indicate that there's also a lunch and film crib afternoon on that program.
Oh, sorry.
And let's not forget about it, because it's great.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Put it down to my poor vision. I missed the line.
What you need is a pair of glasses like this.
Yes.
Anyway, Colin has provided us with a rundown of all the opportunities that we have to support the congregation, to support the work of the congregation by participating in these events. It requires not a lot of effort for anybody, but it does provide us with an opportunity to open our doors and let the community in to see that there's nothing strange happening in here. No goats at all. Colin, are there any other questions? Colin, thank you very much for delivering that report. And thank you also to the people on the community building and fundraising team who have come up with the ideas for you to consider, we hope, very seriously. The next item is... community engagement. Thank you very much, Margaret. Oh. Yes. Yeah, it's hello, George. Hello, Fred. If any of you are familiar with the sheepdog and coyote cartoons. Thank you, Margaret.
So, this is an encouraging thing. Can I have the next slide, please? Community engagement at Morialta Uniting Church, Tuesday mornings. Part of what we've been talking about is how we can encourage more members of the community to see us as indispensable. And one of those ways is for us to be open more. I think I may have mentioned before that it would be really great if we could have enough volunteers so that we could have a roster that every Tuesday morning the church is open. Open for people to come in if they want, open to drop in for a cup of coffee, flags out the front saying that we're open. I have some volunteers, but I would really like some more. Between 10 and 1, we'd like to have the church open so that it's clear that we can have the front door unlocked because there's more of us here, so it's safe for Nicole, and we can be a welcoming presence to anybody who comes past. Please see me over lunch. Yep. There we are, nice and short. And if we get enough volunteers, we can think about another day of the week. We might be able to extend this so that it's pretty well most of the time that the church is actually open. Let's see how we go. Yep. Thanks.
Thank you, Margaret. And Margaret, one of the things that I think people should realise is that during the week, most of us find all sorts of excuses not to participate in those hobby activities that we really enjoy doing. Well, if you're at the church, you can bring that stuff along, can't you?
Absolutely.
So we are giving you an opportunity. We are giving you an opportunity to actually explore and exercise your skills and abilities in the hobbies that you enjoy. Aren't we wonderful?
I'm actually planning to bring my laptop and sit at a table in the foyer and just do little things when I'm not otherwise engaged with people wandering through. There's all sorts of things that we can do as part of that activity, but 10 to 1 on Tuesdays. That's Jill Kerr with a question.
Yes, thank you, Jill.
But how will people know we're open? Because we're on a very quiet street.
Well, we will use the "We're Open" welcome flags out the front, and we know that we can't use A-frames because people trip over them and stuff, but we'll work at finding ways to advertise that we are open. And when people see that we are, word of mouth is a wonderful thing. Yep. Let's try it, see how it goes.
I think the other thing, Margaret, is that if you stand for a particular period, for a particular time, in the mornings, any weekday, there are a remarkable number of people that actually go past our church, aren't there? I think that there are. Well, I'm sure there are, but anyway.
Let's try and see how we go.
That's right. Start small and germinate. Thank you. Thank you, Margaret. Okay, what's the...
Wider church engagement.
Wider church engagement. I think at the end of the year, at the end of any year, it's really important to be aware of the number of people in our community who are involved in wider church activities. I would... At the risk of at the risk of embarrassment, could I ask those who are involved in wider church activities to just stand, please? Well, any wider church, presbytery activity, synod activity, if you are involved in ecumenical work, if you are involved... Yes, Milpara. Yes. Yes, please stand if you are involved in any of those activities. There have been many people who have been involved over a long period of time, and their involvement means that the opportunities that there are for presbytery and synod to hear different voices are really important. So thank you very much to those. And can I say, congratulations. Can we show our appreciation? We would normally have a presbytery report brought to us by Beverly, but we decided that there wasn't really much of importance or that the congregation needed to know as a consequence of our last meeting. But as always, if you have any questions about presbytery matters and synod matters, you can talk to Anne, of course, and to Beverly and to me. Thank you very much. Any questions about that? No.
Any other business?
Now, is there anything else that anybody would like to bring to the attention of the meeting that relates to Morialta's worship and mission? If something's been on your heart for a while and you'd like to share it and ask for a hearing, then this is your time.
I'd just like to thank Bruce for all he does despite his...
There are plenty of people. On this occasion, we won't ask. No, go.
I'd like to thank Bruce because he's had a hard time and he still comes up and works hard and takes the office of chairman, and I think it's fabulous. So thank you, Bruce, and thank you, Craig, and thank you to the rest of the what are they called? Church council.
Church leadership. Yep.
Church meeting for leading us. It's been terrific. Thank you.
Thanks. Good. Thanks for that show of support, Ruth. But I'd have caned you.
Beyond every wonderful man, of which Bruce is, there is a wonderful, kind, brilliant, long-serving...
Long-suffering.
Yeah.
Don't forget that. Anyway.
Woman. And that woman is Anne Ind. So let's give her a clap.
Anyway, thank you very much for that. We better not say any more about us because we will find it difficult to get through those double doors. Is there anything of a program nature that anybody would like to bring? In the absence of anything, can I thank you for your attendance at the meeting? Can I acknowledge that there will have been people online sharing the time with us? We hope that time has been helpful to them in understanding some of the intricacies of our life together. We are about to go and enjoy lunch, but before we do, I'm wondering if there are people, able-bodied people, or people who think they're able-bodied, to rearrange the church into a suitable configuration for Faye Goldsworthy's funeral on Tuesday. This is fantastic. What we do on Sundays is amazing, and I've really enjoyed the worship in the round. But we can't have a funeral in the round, really, and so we need to put the chairs back. This is why we bought the chairs. This is why we've got the chairs. So please, if you've got any, if you've got ability, could you please just move a few chairs before you go out to lunch? can I thank you for your, once again, I hope that the rest of the day is wonderful to you. I'm sure that the next hour or two over lunch will be just fantastic. Thank you for being so fantastic, people. I call the meeting to a close. Thank you.